The underestimation. The Grand Galactic Defense Exhibition sprawled across the artificial surface of Centauri Station, a testament to the military might of 1,000 civilizations. Massive hangars displayed weapons that could crack planets, vaporize moons, and, according to at least 3 manufacturers, restructure local spacetime for optimal enemy deletion. In the smallest corner of Hangar 12, tucked between a Valerian Starkiller display and a Cronus temporal disruptor demonstration, sat the modest Earth Defense Force booth. Lieutenant Commander Maya Chen stood beside their display table, which featured holographic projections of human ships and weapon systems that, by galactic standards, might as well have been children's toys. Is this some kind of artistic statement? A massive Gorgon arms dealer gestured at the human display with 3 of his 8 arms. His scales glittered with embedded tech that probably cost more than the entire human defense budget. Or perhaps your species has a unique sense of humor. Maya smiled politely. Neither, actually. These are functional military systems designed for precision targeting and minimal collateral damage. The Gorgon's laughter boomed across the exhibition floor, drawing a crowd of other dealers and military attaches. Precision. Minimal damage. Why would anyone want that? A spindly Arcturian joined in, mandibles clicking with amusement. Look at this. He pointed to the hologram of Earth's most advanced frigate. Their flagship could fit in my personal shuttle's cargo hold. The gathering crowd erupted in laughter, their translator implants struggling to keep up with the various expressions of mockery. Maya maintained her professional demeanor, though her dark eyes catalogued every reaction, every dismissive gesture. Perhaps, offered a crystalline Tellurian ambassador, they are simply too primitive to understand true galactic warfare. They've only achieved FTL travel in the last century, after all. Maya nodded thoughtfully. You're right that we're relatively new to interstellar travel. We still have much to learn from established species. This diplomatic response only fueled more condescension. The Gorgon arms dealer leaned down, his breath hot against Maya's face. Let me educate you, little human. In real warfare, destruction must be absolute. Your enemy should see your weapons from 3 systems away and tremble. What glory is there in subtlety? Maya adjusted the settings on her display. Different philosophies, I suppose. Throughout our history, humans found that the most decisive victories often came not from overwhelming force, but from precise application of minimal resources. Philosophy won't save you when the Kalan Empire comes knocking with a planet cracker, snorted the Arcturian. The crowd dispersed gradually, still chuckling about the quaint human approach to warfare. None noticed Maya's quiet cataloging of their weapon systems, nor the subtle scans emanating from the decorative elements of the Earth booth. None paid attention to how she recorded every dismissive comment, every boast about ammunition capacity, every casual mention of supply chain logistics. After all, who would bother to monitor such an insignificant species? What possible threat could humans pose? 2 standard months later, the Kalan Empire answered that question by launching an unprovoked attack on the human colony of New Horizon. Their massive fleet entered the system with typical Kalan dramatics, a gravitational wave announcement followed by the ritual destruction of an uninhabited moon, standard procedure for demonstrating superior firepower before demanding surrender. The Kalan Supreme Commander, Drazak, broadcast his ultimatum across all frequencies. Primitive humans of New Horizon, witness our might and tremble. Surrender immediately and accept your place as subjects of the glorious Kalan Empire, or face obliteration. The human response came 12 minutes later, a single message. Acknowledged. Please stand by. Drazak was still composing his speech about human cowardice when the first anomaly appeared in his fleet status reports. 3 ammunition carriers at the rear of the formation reported simultaneous navigation system failures. Before engineers could diagnose the problem, 7 more support vessels lost power to their primary systems. Minor technical difficulties, the Kalan technical chief assured him. Probably radiation from that moon we destroyed. Drazak nodded, unconcerned. With over 300 warships, A few support vessel malfunctions hardly mattered. He ordered the fleet to advance toward the colony. The first actual engagement was brief and confusing. A small group of human vessels, barely visible on Kalon sensors, approached the fleet's right flank. Drazak ordered a standard response, a barrage from 30 destroyer-class ships that should have vaporized the humans instantly. The barrage missed entirely. The human ships weren't where they were supposed to be. "Recalibrate targeting systems," Drazak commanded. "Their evasion technology is better than expected." A second barrage was fired. This time, 2 human ships were caught in the blast radius. Victory cheers erupted across the Kalon command bridge until the damage reports came in. "Sir," the weapons officer said, confusion evident in his voice, "the human ships appear undamaged." "Impossible." Drazak slammed his fist on his command console. "Nothing survives a Kalon bombardment. They've deployed some kind of energy dispersal field," the science officer reported. "Our weapons energy is being redirected." While the Kalon command staff struggled to understand this development, more support vessels throughout the fleet began reporting system failures. Fuel lines ruptured. Power relays shut down. Communication arrays went offline. And still, the human response remained minimal. Their small ships darted around the edges of the Kalon formation, never directly engaging, simply existing in annoying proximity. "They're toying with us," Drazak roared. "All ships, maximum firepower. Obliterate them." The order went out. 300 Kalon warships unleashed their legendary planet-killing weaponry in a display that lit up the system like a newborn star. When the energy dissipated, the human ships remained, still executing their incomprehensible flight patterns around the fleet's periphery. "Sir," the weapons officer said, his voice now trembling, "we're receiving reports from multiple ships. Ammunition reserves are depleting much faster than normal. Some vessels report unusual power drain during weapons discharge." Drazak's rage was interrupted by another report. "Supreme Commander, we're detecting unusual activity at our rear supply depot. Small energy signatures, possibly." The communication cut off abruptly, followed by a blinding flash on the tactical display as the Kalon Empire's primary ammunition depot for the invasion force erupted in a chain reaction of explosions. In the stunned silence that followed, a new message arrived from the humans. "Kalon Fleet, be advised that your secondary and tertiary supply caches at coordinates Delta 9 and Epsilon 3 have also been compromised. We recommend immediate withdrawal to prevent further loss of life." Drazak stared at the message in disbelief. Those coordinates were classified at the highest level. How could these primitives possibly know about them? As if answering his unspoken question, a final message came through. "Thank you for your informative presentations at the Grand Galactic Defense Exhibition. Your technical specifications were most educational." And suddenly, with dawning horror, Supreme Commander Drazak remembered the small human booth, the polite officer with watchful eyes, and all the boasting the Kalon representatives had done about their glorious weapon systems and supply chain efficiency. He remembered how everyone had laughed at the primitive humans and their obsession with precision. No one was laughing now. The Reckoning. Aboard the Earth Defense Force command vessel Shovel Knife, Lieutenant Commander Maya Chen reviewed the real-time battlefield analytics streaming across her tactical display. The Kalon fleet's formation was breaking down, their communication patterns growing erratic as they struggled to assess the damage to their supply lines. "Operation Paper Cut proceeding as anticipated," reported Strategic Officer Patel. "All targeted systems compromised with 92% effectiveness. Ammunition depletion across the Kalon fleet now estimated at 68%. Maya nodded. "And casualties?" "Minimal on both sides, Commander. We've lost 3 drones and have 14 injuries from power surges. Kalon casualties estimated at under 100, mostly from secondary explosions in their supply chain." "Good." Maya's expression remained impassive, but satisfaction glinted in her eyes. "Begin Phase 2. Throughout human military history, from ancient armies to modern space fleets, one principle had remained constant: logistics win wars. While other species built bigger weapons, humans had perfected the art of disrupting the systems that kept those weapons functioning. The Kaelons were learning this lesson the hard way. Phase 2 of Operation Paper Cut began with a seemingly innocuous system-wide electromagnetic pulse, calibrated specifically to the frequencies used by Kaelon targeting systems. Their massive weapons, designed to crack continents and boil oceans, suddenly couldn't hit targets with any accuracy greater than somewhere in this general stellar region. Supreme Commander Drazek's fury was legendary across 3 spiral arms, but even his rage couldn't fix targeting arrays without replacement parts stored in depots that were now expanding debris fields. "They're still refusing direct engagement," he snarled at his strategic staff. "These cowards attack our supplies but won't face our might." His chief strategist, a veteran of 17 major conflicts, looked ashen. "Supreme Commander, I believe that is precisely their strategy. They don't need to engage our weapons directly if they can render them useless. Nothing renders Kaelon weaponry useless. With respect, sir, weapons without ammunition are decorative art pieces, and our remaining ammunition is." He trailed off, unwilling to finish the sentence. Drazek knew the truth. Reports from throughout the fleet told the same story. Precision strikes had disrupted ammunition feeds, corrupted targeting data, and compromised power regulation systems. The few ships still capable of firing at full capacity couldn't hit their targets, and those with functioning targeting systems were rapidly running out of things to shoot. Meanwhile, the human vessels continued their infuriating pattern of minimal engagement, appearing just close enough to be detected, then vanishing before Kaelon weapons could lock on. Each appearance seemed random, but gradually, Drazek realized they were systematically testing the fleet's response capabilities, learning their protocols, adapting to their tactics. "Sir," the communication officer interrupted his thoughts, "we're receiving a direct message from the human commander." The holographic display activated, showing a small human female in a simple uniform with minimal decorations, the same human from the defense exhibition. "Supreme Commander Drazek," Maya Chen spoke without preamble, "I'm contacting you to offer terms for your withdrawal." "Withdrawal?" Drazek roared. "The Kaelon Empire does not withdraw. We conquer or we die." Maya's expression didn't change. "Respectfully, Commander, those aren't your only options. Our scans indicate your fleet now operates at 27% combat effectiveness. That percentage will continue to decrease as our operations progress. You dare threaten." "This isn't a threat," Maya interrupted calmly. "It's a situation assessment. In approximately 6 hours, your fleet will be completely combat ineffective, stranded in this system without the fuel reserves to return to Kaelon space." She paused, letting the implications sink in. "However, if you withdraw now, we'll provide your ships with sufficient fuel to reach the Arcturus waypoint, where your secondary fleet can assist you." The audacity of the offer left Drazek speechless. These humans were not only defeating his glorious armada, but offering charity in the process. "Why would you do this?" he finally asked, genuine confusion replacing anger. "Why not destroy us completely?" "Because that's not our objective." Maya's voice remained level. "Our goal was to stop your aggression with minimal loss of life on both sides. Total annihilation is inefficient and unnecessary." The concept was so foreign to Kaelon military doctrine that Drazek struggled to process it. "But the glory of victory can sometimes be achieved by ensuring everyone lives to fight another day," Maya finished. "We'll transmit coordinates for the fuel transfer. You have 1 hour to decide." The transmission ended, leaving Drazek to contemplate a form of warfare entirely alien to his understanding. Warfare where victory was measured not in destruction, but in achievement of specific objectives with minimal resource expenditure. It was, he reluctantly admitted to himself, disturbingly effective. 55 minutes later, the Kaelon fleet began its withdrawal. News of the encounter spread rapidly throughout the Galactic Alliance. The species that had laughed at human weapons suddenly found themselves reevaluating their assessment. Military attaches requested meetings with Earth representatives. Arms dealers began developing precision targeting modules and logistics disruption systems. At the following year's Grand Galactic Defense Exhibition, the Earth Defense Force booth occupied a significantly larger space. Lieutenant Commander Chen, now promoted to commander following her successful defense of New Horizon, found herself surrounded by military officials from dozens of species, all asking variations of the same question. How had humans developed such an effective approach to warfare? Necessity, she explained to the crowd. Throughout our history, humans often found themselves outgunned and outmatched. We couldn't build bigger weapons, so we had to build smarter ones. We couldn't overpower our adversaries, so we learned to target their vulnerabilities instead. A young Arcturian officer raised his hand. But how did you know which vulnerabilities to target in the Kaelon fleet? Maya smiled, gesturing to the exhibition around them. They told us. Everyone here is so proud of their magnificent weapons that they never stop to consider who might be listening when they boast about ammunition capacities and supply chain efficiencies. The Arcturian looked embarrassed. So while we were mocking your small weapons, we were cataloging every weakness you mentioned, Maya confirmed. In your enthusiasm to explain why your weapons were superior, you provided perfect blueprints for how to defeat them. The Gorgon arms dealer who had mocked her the previous year approached, his manner considerably more respectful. Commander Chen, my corporation has developed a new line of precision targeting systems we believe might interest Earth's military. Perhaps we could discuss a potential partnership. Maya's expression remained diplomatic, but those who knew her well might have detected a glint of amusement in her eyes. We're always interested in new technologies, though I should warn you. We have very specific requirements regarding efficiency and precision. As the exhibition continued around them, a fundamental shift was occurring in galactic military thinking. Species that had spent millennia developing increasingly destructive weapons were beginning to consider the merits of the human approach. Precision, efficiency, minimal collateral damage. The humans, for their part, continued to observe and learn. Their small ships now received respectful distance rather than mockery. Their booth at the exhibition was studied rather than dismissed. And if the various military representatives present noticed how carefully Commander Chen and her team documented their conversations, how meticulously they recorded every casual mention of weapons specifications and fleet deployments, well, nobody commented on it. After all, as the galaxy was learning, sometimes the most dangerous weapon isn't the one that makes the biggest explosion. Sometimes it's the quiet officer in the corner, listening to everything you say.